The jeweller's house stands as a testament to the fusion of tradition and contemporary design in Dumas, Surat. By embracing Vaastu principles and integrating elements of the stepwell and breathtaking sea views, the Indian architects have created a residence that embodies both the cultural heritage and the aspirations of its inhabitants. The interplay of stone masonry, stacked concrete tubes, and snaking volumes form a captivating architectural ensemble that evokes a sense of timelessness and serenity. Let's expand on the design process of the home. What was the brief for the project and the concept behind the design? Located only 20 kilometers away from the hustle and bustle of the city is the coastal town of Dumas, marked once by its numerous havelis, mansions, for the Nawabs, noblemen of the kings. Now its peaceful setting is the reason people opt to move here from the city. The site for the house of a jeweler couple and the family of their son lies minutes away from the coast and required only some elevation over the palms to be able to afford breathtaking views of the Arabian Sea. An old baori was found on site, a rare find in the coastal regions, and the joining of these two glasses of water and weaving them through the house became the driving force of the design. The design intent was the revocation of colonial-style haveli that once stood on the same land. There must have existed lofty volumes, grand staircases and wide passageways. There must have existed life with people and stories. It was the presence of what once was on the land that became the starting point for the conception of the house. The house is a true medley of materials. How did you go about choosing the different materials? The project draws its inspiration from the design language of the old havelis. Fragments of the past are manifested in a stone masonry enclosure for the house, high on the roadside to form a visual and sound barrier, and open on the serene internal sides of the site. Thin concrete tubes are stacked up on this massive stone base, pushed in and pulled out to frame views of the expansive landscape all around. This play leaves behind a void within that emerges as the protagonist. A snaking volume that constricts and dilates, entwining each of the 5 floors into a seamless continuum. The central staircase is one of the most visually interesting features of the house. Was this intentionally designed to be this way, or was it a product of the overall planning and design? Inspired by the now extinct typology of the ancient Indian stepwell, a long flight of steps that give access to a never-fluctuating table of water, the stair starts from the base of the well. Rings along the inside and wraps around the sunlit void, connecting all of the spaces as one rises to the top, a walk 150 steps up to the sea. The upside-down fully functional staircase connects all the usable spaces within the house. There is no dead space under or over the stairs. Smaller spaces are hidden inside functions such as powder room, discreet house safe, shoe vestibule, and passages underneath. In addition to their structural function, concrete and steel may in fact be stronger and consume less energy than other materials. Building materials that may be considered green in other countries do not necessarily make sense in India. Just following the past is not the way. The planning of spaces was imposed by the strict limits of Vaastu that had to adhere to a set of principles of traditional Indian building design that often arise from myth and defy rational and contextual thought processes. It assigns fixed locations of various spaces and elements to the cardinal directions, including the entrance, water bodies, kitchen and each of the bedrooms, down to the orientation of beds, even water closets. Fragments of the past are manifested in a stone masonry enclosure for the house, high on the roadside to form a visual and sound barrier, and open on the serene internal sides of the site. Thin concrete tubes are stacked up on this massive stone base, pushed in and pulled out to frame views of the expansive landscape all around. This play leaves behind a void within that emerges as the protagonist, a snaking volume that constricts and dilates, entwining each of the 5 floors into a seamless continuum. While each tube on the upper floors contains private suites for members of the joint family, the common spaces of the house, including the living areas, temple, entrance vestibule, kitchen and utilities, are all nestled directly beneath them. Of these, the family and formal living areas, along with the dining, open out into a semi-open veranda at the corner of the house adjoining a swimming pool and landscape beyond. with the sit-out of the master bedroom and children's lounge on the first floor looking into this space. It forms the nucleus of the house by default. From here, one looks at the Bowery deep into the ground on one side and the sky through the void on the other. Inspired by the now extinct typology of the ancient Indian stepwell, a long flight of steps that give access to a never-fluctuating table of water, the stair starts from the base of the well, rings along the inside and wraps around the sunlit void, connecting all of the spaces as one rises to the top. A walk 150 steps up to the sea.